Hello and welcome to the first edition of Engineering and You. And You seeks to encourage young Nigerians, students in secondary school and university to be able to pursue career in engineering and science-related subjects. So you would know that, and you would agree with me, that in order for a nation to actually be able to build itself and sustain itself, engineers are needed, and also people in science-related courses are also needed for any nation to be able to build itself. Well, it's going to be an interactive program. We would need you young individuals out there to call in and interact with us. We want you to ask us questions related to how to pursue career in engineering and science related courses. So you can reach us on our social media platforms. We are streaming live on Facebook right now. You can drop your comment on our Facebook platform so that we can get to it when we get to the discussion segment of the program. Also, you'll be able to call in, so get your phone ready, get your questions ready. Once we open up the phone lines, you can interact with us. Well, on the program today, before I go on to that, note that this program is actually sponsored by Engineer Prince Yemisi Shilon, and it is powered by the Nigerian Society of Engineers, the Abeokuta branch. On today's program, we have the chairman of the society here in Abeokuta. He would be giving us details on why this program has been initiated by the association, what they intend to achieve with this particular program today. So joining me in the studio this evening is Engineer Dr. KOLAWOLE Adisa OLONADE. Welcome to the program, sir.
So thank you, our viewers.
Okay, yes. Okay, sir. So I'm going to give you citation right now, and then we'll begin the discussion proper. So Engineer Dr. KOLAWOLE Adisa OLONADE was born about 5 decades ago in Abeokuta, Ogun State. He had his primary and secondary education at Nawaruddin Primary and High School at Okejewu, respectively. He was the best mathematics student in Abeokuta in 1989 and 1990. He first got admission to read mathematics at the University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, but chose to accept the offer of admission to read civil engineering at the Federal Polytechnic Ilaro, known as FPI, where he bagged both national and higher national diploma in civil engineering. He then proceeded to the Federal University of Technology, Akure, for Bachelor of Engineering, also in civil engineering. Engineer OLONADE did not stop. He furthered his study in civil engineering till he obtained MSc and PhD degree from the University of Ibadan and the University of Lagos, respectively. His area of specialization is structural and material engineering. Dr. OLONADE started his work experience at FPI, that's the Federal Polytechnic Ilaro, as a lecturer in the Department of Civil Engineering. After he spent about 8 years, he transferred his service to Obafemi Awolowo University until he rose to the rank of senior lecturer. Presently, he is a senior lecturer in the Department of Civil and Environmental Engineering at the University of Lagos. Dr. OLONADE is a cement and concrete expert. He pioneered the use of cassava pearl ash as replacement for cement in concrete, the innovation that earned him the German African Innovation Incentive Award in 2018 by the German government. Dr. KOLAWOLE OLONADE is a fellow of the Nigerian Society of Engineers and the current chairman of our Abeokuta branch of the society. He is married and blessed with children.
Thank you.
Yes, so that's the citation. We would be back after the short break to start the discussion segment proper. So do stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. This is Engineering on You here on Ogun State Television. And I just read out the citation of our guest in the studio. Welcome to the program once again,
Yes,
sir.
thank you so much.
Dr. OLONADE.
Yes.
The Nigerian Society of Engineers, coming up with this particular program, what is the aim and objective of, the organization thinking about this and bringing this forward to the public?
Yes, Nigerian Society of Engineers is an umbrella body for all engineers in the country. We have a record of different areas of specialization in engineering, mechanical, civil, electrical, mechatronics, and all different areas of of engineering. We have a global and headquarters in Abuja. We also have the branches, and Abeokuta branch is one of such branches of Nigerian Society of Engineers. Because of the interest of the Nigerian Society of Engineers in promoting engineering as a discipline, and also the allied course, which is science, because science is a prerequisite for really learning or studying engineering. We felt, at one of our discussions, we felt that there is no way a nation can develop beyond the capacity of the people in it. And we felt that the way our youth and young ones are really moving, they are really maybe in form of having a misplacement of priority by choosing some courses, that though these courses are also good, but there are limitations to which they can contribute to the economic development and creation of wealth in the country. And because of the nations that we have in the world today, the developed countries, we found that they have taken science and technology, the leverage on science and technology to really fast-track their development. And we felt that there is need for a concerted effort to really stimulate interest of young ones to take career in science and engineering, which are catalysts for a development in any nation.
Okay, I think one of the first questions that a lot of people tend to ask when it comes to engineering is that, who is really an engineer? Because, you get to, especially where they make phones, and, you get there and say, oh, something is wrong with my phone, I want to repair it. They're like, oh, there's an engineer outside, there's an engineer there. And you're like, who is really, an engineer? Can anybody just come up and say that, I'm an engineer, I repair phones, or I do this and that? So, I mean, I can just call myself an engineer.
Yes, yeah, it is not really so. Before you can be called engineer, before you have the right to even use the title engineer before your name, there is a regulation, there is a regulator in the country that has the right to give you that title, and you must have got prerequisite training. You must have been a graduate of engineering, or then you must have had substantial experience, because we believe that engineering requires hands-on training. So you must have experience. The minimum of experience you're supposed to have after graduating from university is 4 years. And then you have to sit for several examinations. If you are able to pass all these examinations, then the body, which is Council for Regulation of Engineering in Nigeria, can confer you the title of engineers and give you the certification. And you must also get license every year to practice. So it is when this body certified you, because they also certify the engineering courses in the universities and even polytechnics. So it is when you are certified that you have the right to put engineer before your name. But we all know that thousands of people put this title before their name. Ordinarily, they are doing what we consider as claiming things that does not really belong to them. But that does not mean that they are also not contributing to the engineering engineering practice. Because engineering, we know that we have different cadres, we have different people, members of the family in the engineering. We have the technologists, we have the artisans, we have the technicians. All these people you mentioned that we also see, whether in the mechanic village, they are also contributing to engineering practice, one way or the other, but there are limitations to which they can go. And then perhaps the misconception most often than not is that it is only when you can use a hand that the people see you as an engineer.
Yes.
But what an engineer does is far, far more than that. Before you can even come, just like, let me just take an example of an engine. Somebody must have designed this engine, must have done a lot of calculation by providing what should be the size, what should be the level, how do we couple these things together. They must have done analysis, they done the design, then put a drawing. So it is the technologists and other members of this family that will not take this drawing and start implementing. It is in the course of implementation that people used to see, they now see them to be engineers, but somebody must have conceived the idea, must have developed the concept, must have designed the concept, and produced this concept in a drawing, which other members of the engineers take up and then implement, and the engineers has to come again to really supervise whether they are really implementing what he has specified in his design.
Okay, sir, thank you very much for that. Don't forget that you can interact with us on our social media platforms. You can call in also. We would go into the conversation very, very soon. So please get your questions ready, and we would begin to have that conversation. But before we begin to taking calls and read out your messages on our social media platforms, I want to also ask you, now, you are an engineer. You decided not to take up the course of mathematics at the Federal University of Agriculture here, and decided to go into engineering. What really motivated you to decide to go? Did you see somebody? Were your parents engineers?
My parents were not engineers. So I got motivated with what I saw as far as engineering practice. And that was dated back as far as when I was 5-year-old. When we saw the Guvante company that was really doing the road from Isalegbe to Chapon, then we were seeing that. Since then, we have been saying, I want to do something that has to do with people really constructing roads, bridges, and building houses, because these are things that you see. When you see those things, you get fascinated that these people that are really doing these things, they must be an extraordinary person. So definitely, so when I wanted to choose course, I know also that we believe then that you have the best mathematics in Abeokuta. Then what else do you want to learn in mathematics without even knowing that there are a lot of things to also learn in mathematics? And then it was also a belief that once you take engineering, then you can also have very good background as far as mathematics is concerned. So the concept is that engineering is a profession, civil engineering is a profession, while mathematics is scientific in terms of the job description of a mathematician. Yeah. You do, as I did, most of it than not, you teach. That was the concept then. But reading engineering, I just feel that yes, even having the title being called an engineer is also a motivation on its own. And then the society rates engineers a lot. When they say engineer to is an intellectual somebody. So that is why people want to arrogate that name to themselves.
But then people also need to understand that you need to be certified in order to be able to take up that name. So it means that every individual that wants to be called an engineer must decide to go ahead and take on that course, do all the professional examinations as you have said, and take up that name as an engineer, authentically, if you can tend to use that word right now.
The certified name.
Certified name, yes. Give us a little bit of a rundown of this cement, cassava, pearl ash to replace. Give us an idea of how you went about the research.
Yes, I got about the research when I was in Federal Polytechnic Ilaro as a lecturer. Then I found that there are a lot of cassava peels that have been dumped in most of these cassava processing centers. And then in the course of doing my PhD, I did a lot of literature review, and I found that there are some materials, agricultural-based materials, that are considered to be pozzolanic. So this is where the idea came, that this waste that people are dumping, that are having a lot of environmental pollution, it causes underground water pollution, surface water pollution. So that's why I decided to say, okay, let me explore the use of these cassava peels. And then today is one of the accepted pozzolanic material that can be used to replace cement partially.
Okay, we're going to even discuss that even more extensively. We're going on a short break right now. When we do return, we'll go into the discussion segment of the program. Okay, welcome back to the program. This is Engineering and You, here on Nuguse Television. I just got a comment on our Facebook, on our Instagram page, also on our Facebook, saying from Olawole, saying that it's a great program. Thank you very much for watching, and let us know any questions you actually have. Also, you can begin to call in on our numbers. It's on your screen right now. You can call in, and you can drop your message on our Facebook platform also. We'll be able to read it out and, put it forward to the doctor here, and he will be able to provide answers to your questions. Now, I want us to look at, science, how important is engineers, to the development, to national development. For a nation to actually, really say that, okay, we are doing something significant, we are able to improve over time, you need engineers. So how important are engineers?
Yes, because in a society like ours, we need some infrastructure for development. We need facilities, tools to really facilitate whatever we are doing. Nigeria is well blessed in terms of natural resources, and it's not even the amount of natural resources that you really have, but your ability to transform these natural resources into finished goods that are beneficial. Yes, we have, for instance, we have Kanji Dam. If the Kanji Dam is not utilized to generate electricity as a work of engineer, definitely the Kanji Dam will just be, maybe it will have just been, the water will have just been there. Here we have the airwaves, which has been there for long. Now we are able to tap into the science of the airwaves, and then we have engineers producing phones. You can talk to your colleagues. Today you can even combine almost everything you can do on your phone. We could remember several years back, only very few houses even have radios in their house, even not to even talk at the television. A television may even be as big as this particular room, or even a computer then may be as big as this particular room. But today you have a laptop, you can even punch computer on your hand. These are things that really facilitate developments. And then apart from that, yes, we see the wonders that people are really doing today. We fly in the air. Then apart from also flying in the air, we transform many natural resources to a finished good. Can anybody even imagine a life without most of these things communicating? In the communication, even in the medical lines, we have, yes, they have the science there, then we also have the engineering products there, which are facilitating and really assisting us. Even the television, everybody, you are really viewing us today, even different parts of the world. Before, it wasn't like so. Yes. It wasn't like that before. But now, because of deploying scientific principles, deploying the scientific philosophy, and then engineers are able to really develop. This is the major a connection between science and engineering. There is a strong connection between science and engineering for really to really develop the society for national development. Because in the course of doing that, we create a lot of wealth, we produce, we do research, we patent it, and then we also develop it for the benefit of mankind.
Okay. One of the questions that is on the mind of a lot of people is how affordable is it for you to go to school and decide to study engineering? You're going to go for a 4-year course, obviously, but you still need to do some certification and all of that. Can a regular Nigerian decide to pursue this, and do you think they'll be able to easily afford it? Looking at the economic situation in the country, or affordability of tuitions, accommodation, all of that in university, how would you advise maybe younger children who want to go into engineering, but their parents are telling them, oh, it's expensive. Do you know what it means to go and study engineering? Do you know how much you'll be paying for this, paying for that? Just give us a rundown of how affordable it is.
Yes, definitely there is no way you want to talk about the cost of education. We know the cost of ignorance is even more than the cost that you are going to, whatever you are going to spend on education. If like some people will say, if you believe that education is expensive, then ignorance is more expensive because you are going to cause a lot of damages in the society. So, studying engineering in Nigeria is not as expensive as any other courses that we want to study in the university. But in engineering, you have it's a 5-year program. Even in the course of studying this, at 300 level, you have opportunity, you have to do industrial training for about 3 months. If you go to this industrial training, you learn on the job, and most often than not, the employer or your trainee, your industrial trainers may even give you stipends. And apart from that, even at 400 level, the whole of the second semester, you also go for industrial training, and government through the industrial training fund, they also pay engineering students. This is also an opportunity for engineering students to make some amount of money, because they know that they are really putting a lot into it, which they may not even be able to get in some other courses. But in engineering, you have this opportunity, and there are several scholarships out there. And this is one of the things that we shall be discussing in this program, opportunities for scholarship, for anybody who is interested in studying engineering. Because the government they have even recognized that without engineering, the future of the country is bleak. So that is why they are really putting a lot of money for scholarship for anybody that wants to study science-based courses, especially engineering and other courses that are related in that area.
Okay, thank you very much for that. So as you have heard, there will be scholarships, there will be scholarship opportunities that will be spoken about as this program progresses. So you want to always be a part of the program every week as we bring in different guests to talk extensively about engineering and also science-related courses. But then I wanted to briefly talk about is there market for engineers? Because a lot of people believe that how many construction works are going on in the country, engineers making money are rather going to maybe hip-hop or something and just make, a billion, in just a night, Give us an idea of, the market, for people that want to go into engineering.
It's the statistics that we have of, academics. The university, we also monitor our students and see how they are really progressing. Today, hardly you will see anybody that studies science-based courses, or either engineering, or physics, or chemistry, or mathematics. Such person is not jobless. As far as this country is even concerned, as worse as it is that there is no job, though perhaps what you may be getting at a particular time may not be as high as you expected, but for you to be jobless is not possible. At worst, you do teaching. Teaching is also a very noble profession. Very, very noble profession. You will get job. Apart from that, the only thing that is really working in this country, you will see a lot of infrastructural development. You see a lot of infrastructural development going everywhere in the country. Do we want to talk of in the communication industry? Is it in the petroleum industry? Is it in the housing and works industry? Just mention it. You see a lot of infrastructural development, because we believe that without infrastructure, there won't be any development. And who are those brains behind the infrastructure? They are engineers and science-based courses. Even if you go for social things or you go for hip-hop, there are limitations to which you can do all this. There are limitations to which you can do all this. But that thing that can give you the life fame, you can find it in science and engineering, just like a lot of people that are really made this.
Okay, then. Thank you very much, Dr. Olonade, for coming in on the program this week. We sincerely do appreciate you for coming on. So, yes, this is where we will be drawing the curtain on this week's edition of Engineering and You here on Noble State Television. Next week, we'll be back again at the same time by 5 p.m. On Friday, we'll be discussing extensively about engineering. And if you're interested in being an engineer, you'll be able to ask questions from professionals, and then they will give you answers to all of your questions. Don't forget that this program is actually sponsored by Engineer Prince MEC Shillon, and it's powered by the Nigerian Society of Engineers, the Abeokuta branch. So thank you very much for being a part of the program this week. In everything you're getting, do get understanding. Bye for now.